Hey, Joy. Hey, Peter. I did, Peter, I got a chance to look at your pictures. I love them. And I can put them in front of my screen. So I figured a way to do this so we'll be able to see them. Oh my God, so cute.
I mean, you totally see Wendy's personality in these, right?
I mean, totally. Like 100%. 100%.
We also see kind of like her affinity for,
I'm going to go ahead and just bring us up to video. I don't think we need a whole long introduction here with stuff. Let's see if I can do this. And I'm going to make you guys producers too, if I can figure out how to do that.
Wow, you can make us a producer with a magic wand?
Yes, I can.
I'm a producer.
Good evening and good morning from Sydney, guys.
Hi,
Wow,
Sydney.
Hi.
Welcome from Sydney.
This will be interesting because, Peter, I don't know if we've actually talked or met, so yeah.
Okay.
But we all have a commonality.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think anybody who wants to get up here can get up here and talk. So just ask and it's fine. There are two things that I want to do with this show. One is to bring some awareness to ovarian cancer because it's Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And I didn't even know that, but here we are. Okay. And what made me aware of that, of course, and what we want to really do is pay tribute to our lovely Wendy Cooper, because I think that she has been a pretty great connector of people. And there's a good many people who didn't know that this was even going on for her, because that was just not how she was. It wasn't what she was about. She didn't focus on it. She didn't present it, but she also wasn't afraid to talk about it. And so she had posted a while back when she was going through her second bout with this after 14 plus years, a little bit over 14 years of remission. She had posted about the statistics on this. And interestingly, even though it's a much lower percentage than breast cancer, it actually has a higher death rate. And it doesn't get any attention in research the way breast cancer does. Breast cancer is always the thing that's up in front. And so I think it's good to be able to talk about this, to be able to pay tribute, and to remember somebody who was an incredible person. And as a side note, a fighter of this horrendous disease, and also the way she handled it. Because I think we all have a lot to learn from the way she handled it, by just being that person who was able to carry herself and just do, without you actually knowing necessarily that this was going on. So, like I said, it wasn't a secret, but it wasn't the thing she talked about. And she didn't want to be known for it, really. I can remember talking to her on her phone, and Joy, you might be able to attest to this, you too, Peter. I can remember talking to her on the phone and her saying, I'm just tired. I don't want people calling me going, so how you doing? And saying that differently than any other time they would have called me and said, hey, girlfriend, I'm going out to eat. You want to come get, And so that's how she was. That's how she wanted to be treated. And that's how she really lived in the window that she knew she had. So I think that's beautiful. I am going to share right now a couple of pictures that Peter sent. So Peter and Wendy, and Peter, I'd love for you to share your story. I'm going to put this in front of my camera. So I'm going to turn landscape if you guys want to see this. But Peter and Wendy worked together in some production stuff, right? In California for some TV stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct on that? You're muted. So just make sure you unmute.
Sorry about that.
Can you
Yes.
check on that?
Yes, you are right about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was actually just screen
I'm sorry.
recording. I was screen
Okay.
recording on my computer of a podcast that Wendy and I did for 3 years together.
I'm going to bring this up onto the screen. So, because I did this earlier just to, might be better long ways. I don't know. So, this is one of the pictures.
Yeah, we could totally see it.
And one of the things that I loved about this picture, Peter, is I do think that Wendy in this picture and you can just see the fun. I feel like you can just see the fun. And that's kind of like, for me, this was the way Wendy did things, right? Everything she did. Here we go. Here's one too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
with Wendy too, like every time we took pictures together, she insisted on sitting on my lap. And
well, of course.
it's because Wendy was always about fun and compassion, and she was like a sexy woman. You know what I mean? Like she definitely embraced her sexuality, and even in a friend level, like if you in all our pictures together, she's either kissing my head or pointing up at my chin affectionately or sitting on my lap, and that's the kind of friend and person she was.
I can't. This is a greatness. This is greatness right here. So, I mean, so for me, and I know this is with Joy too, and I'm going to let you unmute Joy, and I want you to talk. But I didn't meet her in person, right? I met her on Fireside, and we instantly connected and became great friends, but I never did actually get to see her in person. Now we did lots of Zoom stuff, and she was always willing to help, and she was the one who was telling me how to get my podcast set up and the things that you need and how to work with sound and all those things. But I didn't I didn't get to meet her in person. And so one of the things that really stood out to me was why, how we could be so connected to somebody just that quickly and through this. Joy, I want to hear your story about that too.
Yeah, well, first, thanks for inviting me to be a part of this conversation about the gorgeous Wendy. And firstly, I just want to express my sincere condolences to Wendy's family that might listen in future. She was loved by many people. She was a pocket rocket. She used to bust my chops to get in action here on Fireside. She used to peddle, we were the original OGs, and to really embrace all of this stuff. We used to nerd out about sonic experiences and soundscapes and listening experiences. I think that's what we had, the commonality of showmaking. And I just couldn't imagine that we could actually form these kind of connections online, given that I'd always done things on stage for decades with people in real life. And so to actually, for us together as creators, wanting to always break that fourth wall, but then also find that we can actually have these connections and form connections with people. I can see people in the audience here, and I'm connected with them as well. So I think that's the byproduct of not actually knowing that this was the possibility, but in terms of us being really great connected listeners or interviewers or podcasters or showmakers, we actually need this skill. And I think Wendy was a really great example of that, of being able to listen. She was completely herself. She really just, I think, loved audio. Like, she loved the sonic experience, and she loved being a creative. And so today I've crafted a little bit of a snippet, Deanna, whenever you're ready for it. Just a little synopsis. I thought she'd love it. She used to love all of the audio, little sonic listening bites that I do. So I thought, in tribute to her, I'd get something out for her as well.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Would you like to hear it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So listen in, everyone. Close your eyes, perhaps, and you're really going to get a beautiful
I'll put a picture up.
thought of Wendy. Yeah, a picture of who Wendy was on the microphone.
I had an epiphany, and I thought, I'm just going to do it Cooper time. It's going to be community culture and creativity, like Oculus lenses.
This is dangerous. This is very dangerous what you're saying. I'm going to have to go like...
But that's the magic, as a producer and a dialogue editor, that's the magic of the live format, being spontaneous, improvisational almost, right? And then us as producers, creators, being able to enjoy that while then taking that off and into the computer, into post, and creating something really magical, just like we do when we shoot a commercial, just like we do when we shoot footage or whatever it is, a music video. You're compiling it later, not while it's, during a live show, like what you did for sure. But, in my world, I said live, and, there's a lot of different variations of live. Your live was concerts and music and all of that. So absolutely, that is like down to the T. It's like walking into a studio and, you've got the next 12 hours to get all of these shots. Your shot list is done. You know how much time, who's going in. I used to call it the gauntlet, right? The people would come in, go into makeup, go into wardrobe, keep moving like this out to the stage to talk to me in front of the camera. Next person comes in. We called it the gauntlet, seriously. And it was precision. But I edit the hell out of my other podcasts, right? That's the creative in me, right? That's the creation of me. Hi, Joy. I'm ready for my close-up.
Mr. DeMille.
Yes, being a little bit less than perfect, Joy. If you can manage that.
I'll try.
Right. Thank you. You guys, Joy used to run the Sydney, she was a stage manager for the Sydney Opera House. So every single rock and roll megastar show, this girl was making that show. That's her problem. She's trying to make a fireside out of the Sydney
it's my mission.
I so admire you because it's very, very difficult. Podcasting is not as easy as one thinks it is. And the missing link really is the live audience. This is the perfect place for what you want to do.
Anyway, we did a Halloween special, and it's very fun. You have to go listen to it. You have to listen to it at one point.
Who's there?
It's me.
Who's there? Who's there?
You know who.
Oh, what's that? What's that sound?
You don't remember me?
No, I don't know who you are. Who's there?
Hello, baby.
The lovely Wendy, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am. I think my little tidbit would be to always just be creative, not to be afraid to think outside of that big, giant, ugly box, and to just get creative. That's my takeaway today. That's my thing. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's our Wendy.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get some stuff done. My son is here picking up my granddaughter, so there's a little commotion going on over here. But
yeah, I hope that gave us a beautiful scope of what she was really like and what she loved, and just the quality of the work that she does. She was really, I guess, a pioneer for women in terms of, championing her cancer warrior women's voices, and she was really passionate about ageism as well in the public arena.
Right. And one of the things that really stood out to me from Wendy when I would, just get to spend time with her is how much. So you guys know my show is called Laughter After Trauma. And I've never seen someone who could so easily tap into their laughter. I don't care what was going on. I don't know somebody who could so easily tap into their laughter. So I don't know if everybody got to see. I created a reel that kind of summed that up, and I'm gonna play it and hopefully hold it on the screen so you guys can see it. But to me, this kind of summed up my relationship with her. So let me see if let me just make sure I have audio here. Let me do this. All right. Let's see. Let's try it. Can you hear it?
Not quite.
No, wrong one. It's hard to do this while you're holding it. Hold on. It bounced to another screen. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're having troubles over here. Okay, here we go.
We need some incidental music, I think.
And I need the wah, wah, wah. Okay. Let's see. All right. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting audio right now. My input on my mic is so loud you can hear the TV, but you can't hear my audio that I got piping in. That is fun.
Jana,
Okay.
while you're scrolling and working things
Okay.
out,
Yeah.
can I just acknowledge? Well, besides everyone in the audience, I'll just like to highlight some people I haven't seen for a long time that I know had special connection with Wendy. Scrolling through, I can see Mark. So hello to you, Mark. Obviously, we've got Waitbot Woody and Kate and Leonard. And I think Steph's just stuttering, just jumped on as well. So I think that all of these people, and I'm sorry if I've missed anyone, Dave and Sam, I can see you down there as well. They were all people that we would spend time in the green room in the early days chatting about stuff and shows and how to get your shows up and the technicalities of it all, what makes a good show, what constitutes a good show, all scrambling to do our very best works and find our feet on this platform. So it's just beautiful that people have stopped by. I'm not sure if it was wide knowledge over on Instagram of Wendy's passing, but I think it's a beautiful tribute that people have potentially come back to the platform, in essence, for your show, Deanna. So thank you for making that for Wendy. I certainly don't speak on behalf of Wendy or any of her family members or anything like that, but I think it's definitely stoking my mind about the connections that we can make online. And even if we are oscillating in different circles or spheres or platforms, that we can always come back with the common thread of Fireside as the connector. And this is actually the platform as well that I met Wendy on.
Yeah, and I apologize. I think it's actually my internet connection, so I'm having some issues. So I can't play this right now, but I do have some people that I had reached out to. So I went back and I watched some of Wendy's original shows, like one of her first or second shows. And Mark was there, and Leonard was there, and Joy was there. And so I was looking at these first few shows and the things that they were talking about on the shows. Wendy really made it a point to bring her expertise and her professionalism into this arena. And by doing that, you got to really learn some things. And so I hadn't really watched all of her original shows, and I still haven't watched them all. But I really like when she's talking, she knew she knew her stuff, right? And it was really cool to watch that, learn that, and see her have fun. And one of the things that we did together on here was she's like, I want to do a story and want to talk about your laughter after, but I don't want to talk about your story and the long things and the sad parts. I just want you to pick one incident, one story that you can tell. I don't want to know everything there is to know about it. I just need to know a few key factors, and then I'm going to sound design it. I'm going to create, like you said, the sonic experience, and I'm going to sound design it, and you can't stop talking. Now, I thought that was funny because what are you doing? And this platform is perfect for something like that. And she really had a vision for it. And what I realized is that she actually did this with you guys in one of the first few shows, and I can't remember if it was Mark. There was a person named John. I don't know if they made it here, and or Leonard, but she did it with somebody, and they were up there telling their story, and she's like, "No, don't stop talking." Like her music would interject, but she wanted you to keep talking over it, and it was just supposed to fill in that story, and it was so much fun to do, and so hard to not stop talking. So I would really like to see like Mark or Leonard, if you guys want to get up here and talk, because you guys were some of the people who were on here in Fireside like a year ago, more maybe. And so I would love to hear if you guys have any stories or interactions that you want to share. And then I see Dave and Sam are on here. Kate, if you guys have connections or something that you want to share, just, like hit the plus sign. And you too, Steph, because I know you guys talked all the time. And there was a lot of interchange in, like you said, in that creators show. And that's where I actually met Wendy. The first time I met Wendy, I actually was like, she's a little harsh. That is the first time. Like my impression in that creators room was like, man, she just is like, wow. She just tells it like it is, And then I got on and I was explaining what I wanted to do and my ideas, and I didn't have the name for the show. And I said, but I do feel like coming from domestic violence and understanding what that is, but understanding that there is so much trauma that is experienced that I want to be able to open it up and just kind of be the steward of stories. How do I get that done? And she's like, and I said, and I don't know how many people were affected by this. And she said, me. And I was like, oh, okay. So then there was this little connection, right? And then we just kind of started talking and people started throwing out names. And between her and Chris, Rossetti, and people, I don't remember all of who was in there. Stephanie was conducting the room, and everybody just started throwing stuff out. And at some point, the way it landed with laughter after and the catch of that, the sound, the alliteration of that, I was like, that's it. Like, that's the one, And so it was really cool. And then from there, it kind of just, she just started reaching out and saying, hey, yeah, do this, jump in, don't wait, do this. She was such an encouragement for me to get this rolling. And then she spent probably another, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours with me just trying to tell me how to get on a Libsyn and podcast, When Fireside connected it, I was like, oh, thank God, because I was working on this and she was working with me, and I don't think I was absorbing as fast as she would have liked. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoosh. So anyway, if anybody else wants to share, Peter, you have any more to share? And I would love to hear from other people in the audience. I mean, you guys come on.
Actually, I'm trying to pull up a video of a podcast she and I did from back in 2014.
Okay.
So when I get that, I'd love to share it.
Okay. So let me see if my internet is working.
So you can see we've got Leonard on stage. I've just invited you to as Mark, as well, Mark. And I'll just, with the invite.
Come on, you guys tell us some Wendy stories.
I don't know if I have a specific story per se. I think what everyone has been saying is right on. I mean, she was very outspoken. She would jump right in. The first time I met her, I was actually doing an early show that I had done. And she somehow did not know she was in the green room and just started talking about all this wild and crazy stuff. And she thought she was in the green room and we were all just goofing around and I'm trying to do a show. And it was kind of crazy. And, but she was also had a very delightful way about her. As it's been said, she was very sexy. When I realized that she was Jewish, that made her more attractive to me. And she had a lot of, stories of things she'd been involved with, in the media and she was very opinionated, but she could be very nice. She could totally derail where you were going. She was very fascinating and alive and brilliant, and I was very sad to hear that she's not on the planet with us, but I'm sure she's raising hell wherever she is.
I feel she's actually probably with us, listening in, critiquing us, what we're saying, how we're saying it, the format of the show. And it was beautiful as well, Leonard, to for us to do the Halloween showcase with Jonathan Yudkin as well, and just how to broker the connection and the conversation and who was doing what and how it was happening and the synergy between us all. That was kind of really special to do because, Wendy was a true creative. She had things to say. She knew exactly the way that she wanted to do things, and it was that whole art of collaboration for us to actually bring these things on Fireside, and I think that we did that effectively. And gosh, we're coming up to the next Halloween, and I have no idea who's going to fill her shoes or whether we should even attempt to do something again. So we're looking for someone to step into Wendy's shoes if Leonard and Jonathan are in for a version 2 for this year.
Oh, wow. That would be fun. That would be real fun. I didn't see that, so now I'm going to have to go back and look at that. You had told me about it, but I didn't get a chance to go watch everything, There's so much stuff out there already here. And, I know somebody brought up the fact that Wendy was no longer on the platform, but, the thing is that's neither here nor there. There was a lot of contribution to this, and a lot of us that were connected to her through this application. And when Wendy got her prognosis after this second time that the cancer came back, it was in 2019, and then in spring, sometime early spring this year, she got a prognosis that none of the treatments that she were using were working. And so one of the things that I really want to talk about a little bit just before we move on to another memory is the fact that Wendy also chose to live in that window. She called it her window of life that she had. Like she said, not many people know what is going to happen. Like they don't get like some definitive thing. Like they don't go, oh, here's this really kind of concrete deadline. Here's this place where I know things are going to be happening and things are going to go take a turn. And we don't always get that. And so we live in expectation. We live in the fact that we think we always have more time. And I think the beautiful thing that happened was Wendy didn't live like that. Wendy lived as though tomorrow wasn't expected. And more so when it came to the fact that when she got that final prognosis where it pushed her into this place of, I'm really going to focus in and I'm going to focus on what matters. And that's what she chose to do, even in this arena. Whatever, she had some issues here. So what, we all have our things, but Wendy just took that and said, okay, this is my opportunity now to say that the universe is telling me that this is not my thing. I'm moving in. And I'm going to focus on what matters, because in the short time that she had left, she chose the better portion, really. And that was okay. That was okay. She still has a massive contribution here, and she has a huge effect on all of these people here who have come to this platform because of her and have really pursued things on this platform because of her. Now, I know we have a few OGs here that aren't doing a whole lot on the platform anymore, so I'm hoping y'all come back. But I do think that some of us are here and kind of sticking it out based on, the help and the influence that Wendy gave us off of this, but about how you handle. I'm sure, Joy, if I asked you the things that you learned from her, did they impact you outside in the rest of the work that you do? Would you say yes?
I think, Yes, yes, in the sense that she was always championing me to step out and be out in front. Like, I have very much had a career where you don't talk about certain things, any sort of celebrity type things. It's all embargoed. You don't talk about things. So it was really this encouragement of doing that. And, even in the role that I just did about her, she was busting my chops because she was like, stop doing it perfectly, get out there and do it. And I think that's what was the beauty of her, because she could be so in your face and on you, where you could recoil or you could get upset, but at the same time it was coming from this place of like, just do it. And that's production. Like, that's the core of what it is, to take direction from other people. And I think that's where she could really coach or educate people in this space, that it's not actually about your response to it. Like, she wasn't, I think, being callous to me, and sometimes she was just trying to get me to be the best version of myself out here. And certainly I've got my sea legs. I know what I'm doing. I am less than perfect now. I've got more things in the can to think about bringing back onto the platform. But I think meeting these beautiful people, the people on stage, the people in the audience, and for us to continue to develop these opportunities is a great thing. This is a platform where, it's unleashed what we can potentially do here. So what are we going to do here, and how can we collaborate again to do richer and deeper things that are interesting and exciting? And that was always her premise. Like, we used to talk about how you'd get on different platforms or shows and you'd just be bored out of your head. And I'm not talking about Fireside, but other platforms where you'd just be people talking at you all the time. Like, where's the value, the goldness, or the rich nuggets that people can take away? So we used to just nerd out on that all the time. And I'm sure Mark can talk a lot more about those sort of things with Wendy.
Yeah, Mark, let's hear from you. I would love to hear some of your stories. I know we didn't get to catch up. He was just here in New Orleans, and I was like, yeah, let's do something. But I mean, it's so hard when it's last minute. I wish we would have got a chance to meet in person. But tell us just Wendy stories.
Hi guys, this is Mark. So I met Wendy early on, pretty much in Fireside. I want to say, I don't know, May maybe or June of 2021. And I think all of us who are involved with podcasting, I mean, we saw Fireside as this amazing opportunity to have like a live audience to interact with. And certainly I got to know Wendy fairly well just by her kind of being a contributor in all these different shows and really taking an active role in kind of contributing to the content and really kind of at least opening up my eyes to like the potential of Fireside and what it could be. And so I thought that was really good. And I loved interacting with her. She was always there and really an active voice on this platform. And so, it really shocked me when I saw, I'm not sure, in a Instagram message list about her passing, and I had no idea, and kind of stopped me in my tracks, because Wendy, when she would talk, she was so vibrant and alive, and she really had this great tonality and kind of happiness in her voice, and so that really shocked me. And so I just wanted to come here and support you guys and support her and her memory, because I think that she was one of the people on the platform who really connected people and was involved with everyone's shows. So here's to you, Wendy.
There you go. I love it. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you sharing that. And I just updated the fortune cookie because I did some research based on one of her posts on Facebook, and looked up some statistics and decided that, maybe we put this out there. I didn't create a fundraiser. Her family has not asked for any of this. As a matter of fact, I've reached out, but I think that there is a processing time that they're going through, so I didn't press that issue. And so just putting this up here because this is an organization that focuses on the research for ovarian cancer. And I think it's really important for us to understand that, it accounts for 2.5% of all of the cancers that women deal with, and it's 11 in the most common of those cancers. But even though it's 11th in the most common, it's the 5th leading cause of cancer-related death. And that's because we've spent a lot of money and research in some other areas that may be more prolific, but now it's time for this area to start getting some attention. We know she had some other components that went with that. She had that BRCA1 gene. She was positive there, and she took all the actions. Right? She prophylactically had the mastectomy, similar to Angelina Jolie. If you know some of these celebrities who've done this, when they found out they had this gene, they said, "Let me just take the actions that and the steps that I can take to protect myself." And she did that, and it still wound up that she got this in a different area. So, and that's another thing to learn about this, because a lot of people think that that gene only relates to breast cancer, but it doesn't, so it relates to other lady parts. And so I did want to kind of weave into the show some awareness about this. And, and if you're looking for a place to learn more, or you're looking to donate. So this is a donation link. If you go to this link, you can click out of it and go to the homepage of this site. And it is the Ovarian Cancer Research Awareness website. It's an organization, it's a nonprofit. And I think it's just a good way to, if you really kind of want to do something on her behalf, that this would probably be something that she would be proud to be, have her name attached to it if you chose so. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I don't think everybody is aware of some of this information. And I'll weave some more into this a little bit more as we kind of talk. But I wanted to come back to Peter just to see. I don't know, Peter, how you doing over there?
I am
Because you're not
almost there.
okay. Because I was going to say you're not on camera anymore, and I don't know what happened. All right, let
Oh,
me.
I just figured there were so many people that wanted to speak. Maybe I would just step down for a moment if someone wanted to speak on video. I didn't want to crowd all the slots for right now.
Oh, yes, I got you. Yeah, and guys, anybody who wants to come to video, you're more than welcome to come to video. You don't have to be on video, but we'd love to hear from you if you want to speak about this. Let's see if I can get my video to actually work. There it is. It's finally working.
And I'm happy to jump off video too if anyone wants to come up. I think there's beautiful extra power to see people's faces talking on a fireside.
I don't know if you can hear it. Let's see.
It's the past. It's like, and it's, I like to talk about the really cool and positive things and stuff like that. But, do we really have to talk about that negative? I've let that go. That's like, it's kind of like going through years and years of therapy where I can talk about it, but, I let it go. Do I want to or not? But all we truly, because people say, how do you live with cancer? How do you live this way? And this is a very interesting topic about how you do that. But, I only have the same thing that you have and anybody in the audience has. And that is what we have right this minute, at this moment, now. Period. That's all we have. And it's what we do with that, right? And that's how I try to live, although it's very difficult. It is difficult. But it's really all that we have. It's just all we have. And that's that.
There's a couple of pictures of her kids, and
I seriously do not know what to say.
This is her message
so
to me.
Cool.
I sent her some coloring books, and she just didn't know what to do with herself. This is her post about cancer and some of the stuff I just shared with you guys, and then it kind of just closes out with this. This I just think is the epitome right here, and that's that. That's it. That's all we have. So, to me, this was one of the things I kind of put together because I felt like it kind of summed things up. And not only did it sum it up, but I do think that's a way that we all need to approach life. I mean, I feel like that's just the way we need to all approach it, and I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's the way I'm going to choose to live. But it's also the way I want to choose to remember, because this kind of hit me harder than I expected it to be perfectly honest. We had talked and I knew what her prognosis was. And I knew some of the things that she was talking about. I didn't know her full plan, and she did choose her end of life plan based on the law in California. That is something that's very stringently protected, and so you have to be in a certain place for someone to be able to choose that. And I think that she also decided to take her time and spend it the way she wanted to, and to be with the people she wanted to be with, and to you know play that pig game, roll the pig, whatever that was she was telling me about. um anyway, play games, spend time with her kids, her grandkids, her husband, her friends, her family, um and then make her choice as to when she would leave. And I think there is so much courage in that. You can stay and you can live in pain, and have people just continue to take care of you. And I don't know if I could make the choice she made. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but I do think it takes a certain amount of courage, that um, you know, to be able to make that choice, and to be able to say, okay, I've tied up all my loose ends, and I can't go through this anymore. So here we are. And to me, it just hit me harder than I thought it would. I mean, like, I knew it was coming, and it still just hit me harder than I expected. So I don't know if that is the way anybody else felt, but that is pretty much how I handled it. I didn't handle it at first. It took me a couple days, but at the end of it all, at the end of going through that period of being in my own feelings, which is, um, you know, it is. It's kind of that was about me. And then when I pulled back from that, I just decided that I needed to go through this stuff, because the way she lived is what she wanted us to remember. And that's why she chose to do things the way she did. Because the memory is of these bright moments, and this time where she was 100% full of life. Like, I mean, to meet her is to say, wow, she was just such alive. She was alive. Somebody's described her as that right here. So, and it just is the way it came off, and the way you interacted with her. And I get it. Maybe she wasn't for everybody, but the people who got her loved her. They did. They loved her. And I mean, I guess that's all I can really say about that. I feel like I'm all alone up here on the stage now, because I'm the only one on video. Peter, how are we
You're not
doing?
alone. I'm
You're
here.
not alone. I know. Peter, you might be on mute.
I'm back.
Okay. You have something to show us or
Yeah,
listen to?
fortunately, I think we'll have to listen to it because, I know it sounds lame, but I physically can't hold up my camera to the computer and show it.
It's not lame, but you can turn your phone camera around if that helps any. I don't know if it does or not.
Yeah, oh, you know what? Okay. No, I got this because I exported it as a video file and I can move the video anywhere on my computer. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh my gosh. What would I do without you, Deanna?
I don't know. It's just so amazing.
Okay, so I'm going to be very gentle and deliberate because I have my phone on a little stand. So bear with me. Let's see. And also, I don't know if I could see.
Okay, right now we're at an angle, but I can see. Oh, okay, yep, I can see
You
it.
see
Is
me
her
and
feet?
Wendy?
Okay, yeah, I can see it at the bottom of the screen with some words above it.
Like, does that help or?
No, you can. You're okay. It's just kind of like not zoomed in. It's fine.
Oh, actually, let me move closer. Can you see the square video?
I can. You want to move it up just a touch.
So you can see me and Wendy now?
I can. Can you
Okay.
move? Can you move the square up a little bit? There you go. Yeah, that's
Good.
perfect. Yes. Okay.
Boy, what a high tech show, right?
Right. I'm going to make my screen bigger so I can see it more.
Might have to crank the sound if there's sound as well.
Yeah, I've got the sound. It might be too loud. Okay, so Wendy and I, you can hear me okay right now, right?
I can hear
Yes.
you. Yes.
Wendy and I, from 2013, I think through 13 to 16, we did the C Spot, going to market with Wendy and Peter, and it was highlighting her marketing expertise. And she would have guests on the show from the marketing world, especially the world of TV, online marketing of infomercials and such. And so I had started just kind of producing her show, but our personalities got along so well that she's like, "I need you on camera." And so I started like co-hosting the show with her. And so this is just one of the shows from May 29th, 2014. It's just a 2-minute intro, but I kind of felt like it captured Wendy really well. Like kind of the Wendy that's like, I don't know about technology, and the Wendy that's like, even though she embraced technology, she'd be like, oh, where's the papers? And also like her concern for me. When I turn the screen back, I'll talk a little bit more about that, but here we go. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Oh, and the beginning is the jingle she came up with, like, and it just kind of shows her production value because it's a really, really nice jingle for the show.
Everyone is a product, and everyone needs marketing to succeed. Let's talk about it right now on the C Spot, going to market with Wendy and Peter.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Wendy.
How are you?
We can't see Wendy.
How's your, what's that noise? What's all that
There you
chatter?
go. Good.
What am I listening to?
Is your computer on?
Shit. I always do that. Okay. Here we are.
The heck is that?
You're watching the C Spot, or you're listening to the C Spot. This is where we talk about everything we want to talk about because we really don't care what our show is about sometimes.
Yeah, but it all comes back to marketing.
It does. It always comes back to marketing. And we have two guests today. One guest.
Yes, we do.
One guest is in studio.
One guest is in studio.
Peter?
Oh, I'm feeling
you weren't
great.
Feeling good last week.
Yeah, no, but this week I'm feeling aces.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right in the middle of the show last week, Peter just kind of you had a terrible bladder infection.
Yeah, I just went off the cliff.
And it just hit you. Yeah, and you went off the cliff. It was you do that every once in a while.
Right.
And I can see it on your face.
Right.
And then,
but you couldn't tell during the show.
No, I couldn't tell during the show. Anyway, okay. All right, I look okay.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Is Dave Martin on the line yet?
He is on the line listening to this rambling intro.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know I ramble a little bit sometimes, but here we go. So today we're going to talk to her. Can you introduce?
Oh yeah, actually,
Dave,
it's right in that pocket right there. So
Dave actually is with Electronic Retailing Association, and he is the director of marketing,
vice president
of marketing, content, and Electronic Retailing Association, and better known as the ERA.
There you go. So that was Wendy in 2014.
That was pretty classic Wendy.
Y'all go way back. Yeah, I agree, Leonard. That was classic Wendy. Thanks, Joy, because she would fuss about being professional and getting together, but then she was never together. And it was,
right, totally.
It's like, wait, what are you saying right now, Wendy? But I think that was the fun of it.
When she said, when she's like, but the show's really not about nothing sometimes. Like, well, no, it all comes back to marketing, Wendy. She's, oh, yeah, marketing.
Right. And you can't say the show's about nothing when you actually have a marketing director coming on your show. Right? Maybe.
But it also,
Thank you.
It also, like, one thing that I want to point out is, like, you saw her care and concern for me when she noticed I was sick from a bladder infection the week before. And Wendy is an incredibly compassionate person, but like you said, and people have said, like, she tells it like it is. And that's actually what I loved about Wendy, is that as a gentleman in a wheelchair, she never ever patronized me, not from the first 30 seconds we met throughout our professional career together. And in fact, she would joke with me, wheelchair joking and stuff, which I actually also appreciate because it shows that, she's not like walking on eggshells,
Hmm.
and to me, like, I love when people can joke with me about, so if she says something like, like, oh, but Peter, you'd never get up that hill or something, like, to me, it's hilarious. And I love that she can be so open and know that she could be so open with me to joke with me and be on my level with that, just like, even though like that clip we saw, she was being very real about cancer. We had, it's not ironic that your show's called Laughter After Trauma, because she would joke about it so much on this C Spot show as a cancer survivor, not in a not in a bad way. I don't know the word, the patronizing way or something, but she would, joke about it like she's like, you gotta laugh, like you've got to find the joy in surviving this and, you know, overcoming it. And, as much as I would like to say that, I had a spinal cord injury when I was 19 and became a quadriplegic and blah blah blah, but I feel like I've been, like, I've always looked forward and I've always had a positive attitude. But Wendy taught me even more about overcoming obstacles and having a positive attitude in the face of diversity. And she was, for me, this is just my life, but for her, when you have, death can knock on your door at any moment, and to just look that in the face and be like, fuck you, death, you
Hmm.
know uh it's that was Wendy to me.
Yeah, and I think that her laughter, when you talk about it and you say, it wasn't in an inappropriate way, it was not in a way that would condescend or offend somebody who is in this battle. It was in that way of saying, um, you have to look at it, and you have to find the thing that you can connect to, latch on to, that helps that helps carry you through. And it doesn't have to always be so heavy. Sometimes it doesn't have to be melodramatic all the time. That's not to say you don't have the moments. There are moments. I shared moments with her like this, but she didn't live in those moments. And that was the thing. She chose, no, I'm not going to live in those moments. I'm not going to live in the fear, from when I was diagnosed, went through the treatment, and beat it. I'm not going to live in the fear of if and when this shows up again. And if and when it does, then I'm gonna go at it just the same. And that's what she did. And I mean, she did everything she could when this came back up. But what she did do is choose not to go through living the way she had to live when she fought it the first time, because she knew it would be twice as much and twice as hard. So she chose treatments that would allow her to have a quality of life where she could still travel and do her shows and still work and spend time and do the things that she loved to do, right? Which was Wendy living. And I feel like that applies to all of us. And, in the end, the medicine stopped being effective. And when it did, there were options. There were some options, but the options were so bad that she said, no, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and deal with what I have left, and I'll move from there. We'll see how it goes, you know? So I feel like all of it, in every place of it. And I feel like anybody and whoever has dealt with this and the decisions they make as well are dealing with this in such a courageous way. So I'm not saying people have to make the decision she made. What I'm saying is, whatever decisions you make in this situation, you're making courageous decisions, and it's amazing and it's beautiful. So
And I think
my
it's okay
takeaway.
to say that the decisions she made were brave and forthright without judging other people. That's
Absolutely.
how Wendy personally motivated us, and it doesn't reflect on how I feel about anyone else with cancer or how they're dealing with it.
Right. Exactly. So, we're getting close to an hour. I can't believe it's been an hour already, but I don't know if anybody else has some things that they want to say. Stephanie was driving. I don't know if you got home yet, Stephanie. Hopefully that you're safe, but I would love to hear from you. I know you probably have a couple of thoughts to add here. Joy, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I really love to hear Peter's perspective of just a beautiful wrap up with that, because that's exactly who she was in terms of what you saw was what you got with gorgeous Wendy. She had the ability to bust your chops, but at the same time, keep it very real, sort and filter through the people that she could resonate with and could form deeper connection and collaborate with. And what I know to be true is she absolutely adored her children, grandchildren, and husband. And really, if they do listen in, then I hope that they know that once again, it's innovation in this space, that it's become a tribute show, if you will, the very first on Fireside, no doubt. So once again, she's innovating here. She's moving us to all just be in remembrance of her. And I think that this is something that is to be explored in the future. How do we remember and honour each other's as virtual friends? Also in the space of actually having family, and how this will be the new way of remembrance rather than just a Facebook wall. There's opportunity here for us to connect, to collaborate, but then also to live our very best lives. That's the beautiful stuff that you do, Deanna, with talking about trauma and bringing people through. So how, once again, I bring this back to Wendy, like how, as she would push me and push many of us, how to really speak our voices and develop the messaging that we want to get out into the world, and therefore create incredible shows that entertain, inform, and delight. So that's the tribute to Wendy from myself. And thank you for creating this for her. I'm sure she would be most humble and either say, "God damn it, you people, what are you doing?" Or she might be like, "You know what? This is just a beautiful end note to a new beginning." So thank you for everyone that's contributed. I don't speak on behalf of you, Deanna. It's not my wrap up to give, but I think it's a beautiful remembrance and a space that we've now created in this moment here. On this platform, and hopefully that we all can take a little bit more grace from the way that Wendy truly wanted to innovate and move forward in all things digital technology and all the things that were her favourite things.
Yes, I agree. Stephanie jumped up, and I know she probably is kind of in or out, so I don't know if she can speak, but if you can speak, Stephanie, go ahead.
I'm in my kitchen. I should be good. Deanna, can I come on video? I want to
Yes,
say something
absolutely.
to Peter too, because
Yes. Hang on one second. Let me. We have three
that's one
producers up
piece I
here,
think
so
on Fireside we need to work on, because you know how weird it is when you're like, "Hey, can you put me on video?" It sounds so weird. It's like
yeah.
I want to be on video. I don't even know. I feel like it
What?
sounds weird.
Mm.
Anyway, I wanted to first
Hey.
say hi. Peter, I know how long of a relationship that you had with Wendy that far exceeds anyone, well, most people on this platform, I should say. And I just wanted to say how sorry I am to you for your loss of your friend. I
Thank you,
don't want that to
Stephanie.
go. Absolutely. And Deanna, I know on a relative basis, you knew Wendy for, I guess, sometimes what could be considered a blink of God's eye. But I know that it was a very impactful and special connection that the two of you made. And so I also want to say how sorry I am to you for your loss, as close as you and Wendy got so quickly. Wendy, I mean, I have a billion stories, right, about being in the green room, Wendy fighting with someone, leaving the green room because she was pissed off, and then coming back in and then yelling again and getting pissed. I mean, it was just her personality. But I think one thing that I thought that is worth mentioning is this. We have somehow leaned in this society to this weird place that has nothing to do with human beings, right? You're with me, you're against me. You agree with me, you don't agree. And there's this dividing line, and we pick up our toys out of the sandbox and we storm away.
Mm.
We have forgotten about that good old-fashioned word, which just also includes empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what it looks like to me. Wendy was very open, sometimes very, very open about the life that she led and some of the experiences she had, her relationships, family relationships, friendships. And what I am clear about is when you have had to stare in the mirror in a real way and face your own mortality for real, not just a passing thought about, one day, what will it look like when I'm not here? But like, I might not be here in a week or a month or a year. And what process you have to pretzel through to get to a place where you can wake up every day, go to bed every night, go to the grocery store, and somehow find a normalcy to living with your mortality, living with the pain of certain drugs you have to take, all of the things that you have to experience. I do not know what that feels like. So I think that Wendy has probably always been a fantastically, stunningly beautiful, complete pain in the ass. And I say that with love because she called herself that. So I'm not being mean right now. I'm saying that with love.
No, for sure.
But I think it's a good moment to pause and say, Deanna, that reel you put together was just show-stopping. That moment when Wendy said, you know how much time you have? Right now. Mm-hmm. And she's right. And she had to understand that in significant and unique ways, and had to find her strength, her place, her joy in whatever form that took. And if that form came off as offensive and mean sometimes, Wendy was finding her way. It doesn't mean that there has to be that doesn't have to link to a hatred or she's a human being who's had a lot of really, really, really shitty, hard things happen to her over the course of her entire life. It wasn't like, it just happened in the end. She had a lot of hard things. And that woman fought and clawed her way out of stunning things in her life. It doesn't matter if it was graceful or not. She did it. So I think that what it causes me pause about is that I'm clear that I'm a mere mortal. I don't know when that day will come. But Wendy had to face that day, might be soon, on a regular basis, and find a way to get through life that way. And so I think that she is quite literally the epitome of the good old Frank Sinatra song, I did it my way. Mm-hmm. And she made a decision. She was clear about end of life coming, and she made decisions that were in her best interest, according to her. And good for her. Good for her. Good for her that she had the ability to make that decision with clarity. She sent me a lot of text messages about, really direct, like, Steph, I'm really dying this time. Like, I know you are. And you know what? I just want you to have every day be on your terms. Like, if you want to wake up and paint your nails red and have a big old bourbon and smoke a big old cigarette or cigar, you go do it. If you want to go in the middle of the street and invite everybody to a cigar and cigarette, do it. Or go meditate, or do all of it. Go in the middle of a department store and just scream, because you never get to do that. You get thrown in jail. And if you do get thrown in jail, what a great story it'd be. But my point is, she was clear that we have this life. It's precious, and we don't know how much time we get. And so she touched a lot of lives, good, bad, and different. But that's all of us. Not everybody likes us. We're not for everybody. And you know what? If you think you are, you're totally wrong. So I love that you are I love that you are doing this tribute to her life. Peter, again, I send you hugs. I know how close both of you were, but Peter, I know you and Wendy had a very long relationship, and boy, was she passionate. I just looked back at my text messages, Peter. I have a text from her, I believe on March 8th, saying, I really think Peter should be a creator here. He has so much value to add, and he's such a deep and special person. And I'm like, Wendy, yes, of course. And she's like, could you reach out? And I'm like, I don't need to reach out for you. You reach out. Like, tell the story. I'm happy to, but like, yeah, he's amazing. But always the great advocate for people she loved, right? She banged the shit out of you too, but also a great advocate.
She was a champion, right? She championed you. And so when you know that about her, you knew that when
Right.
she was critical, it was coming
Right.
from a place of championing you. She wanted you to be able to succeed and be the best. That was her place.
Yeah, no question. And I think the last thing I want to say is I think it's also important for anyone who's listening now or who might listen to the replay is this. When you have to face the fact that there's so very little we really do control in this life, I think that mirage that we create for ourselves about why control this, and I'm it's a given. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. But she was not bothered by, I shouldn't say that. She had a very hard time. I think what I'm trying to say is that through that hard time, what she came to is when you have to acknowledge how much control you don't have in your life, and you have to let go of the most significant thing in your world, which is kind of like your life, and give it up and just say, I don't know how long I have, or you're fighting through terrible cancer and all the stuff she went through. Wendy understood that every minute we live is very, very precious. And I think that also meant that she felt like, I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to tell you to f off if that's what I think. And even if that doesn't land well, I'm living my truth. There's some interesting freedom that comes with that. And for some people, that could be perceived as selfish. You kind of have to be selfish if you're in that place in life. And yet she was also selfless.
Mm-hmm.
But she fought hard through her life. She had a lot of hard things happen. She had some great joys and triumphs. She had a bunch of really hard things too. I think she lived life literally to its fullest. And I think it was Peter that said this. I couldn't tell because I was running around. But yeah, I think she's up there in some pool hall hustling some of the young guys who think they've got one on her. but when you,
no doubt,
it's also important at the very end of the day to control what you can when you're completely out of control. And I think sometimes some of the criticism and the feedback, wanted or not, is because she loved what she did. She felt like she was a pro at what she did. And when you're grasping for control of something that makes you feel like you're tethered to something and you're not just flying out there in the electrons, I honor that as well. So Deanna and Peter, I appreciate you both. And again, I'm sorry to both of you for your loss of someone who became very close to both of you. And thanks for having me. I'm sorry it took me so long.
That was beautiful, Stephanie. Thank you.
It was beautiful. And I know that you guys also developed a relationship. Wendy was in touch with everybody. So it's your loss too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like as I reached out, they were like, yeah, I spent time on the phone with Wendy. Yeah, I spent time on the phone with Wendy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because I think it's because Wendy wanted to be the champion of whoever she could be, you know, whoever would accept that. And I think I think that was pretty something amazing about her personality. I think it was also something that had to do with her knowing her time and going, you know what, I'm gonna give what I can to the people who are willing to accept it.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to accept it, it's fine. She didn't beat a dead horse.
Right.
She moved right on from that. It was okay. She was not, you know, and so and I don't sit here and act like she was perfect. That's not what I'm saying either. And you said it beautifully.
Nobody is.
Right. You said it beautifully. You said, you know, Wendy was Wendy and she lived it to the fullest. And when you're faced with that and you still were able to give, and I think one of the things that I think about, and just coming from the trauma background, is looking at it and going, all the things that she went through in life kind of prepared her to fight this battle. Really.
No doubt.
I think
No doubt.
she approached this battle like, if I can escape in an airport with a kid and a suitcase
Yeah.
and some
Right.
money
Right.
that I embezzled, kind of
Right.
like,
Bring it,
yeah,
son, because trust me, I've got this.
right. And so I do, and I think that there was this fighter in her about it, that way
Yeah.
too. So it's just, yeah, and I know somebody made this mention about where she is and why she wasn't on Fireside. That's irrelevant. In my opinion, this is about recognizing, number one, this horrible disease that people deal with,
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
given the attention it needs to be given. That's number one. And number two, a person who's had a great impact on everybody here who showed up for this show.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. And that's what I wanted to do. And, did I question that? I did. I said, do I do this? Do I not do this? And
And
in
I
the
said,
end, I
yes,
said,
you do whatever the hell you want.
exactly. And I talked to a couple of other people, and I'm like, no, I just feel strongly that this is something I want to do. And it's not just for here.
Right.
It's for posterity. It's for my podcast. It's for YouTube. It's for her family.
Yeah.
Because I do think at some point in time, they're going to want to look back at some things, and they weren't a big part of Fireside, but I want them to
Right.
see, here's the impact
Right.
that she was having over here. And now you
Right.
get to see it when you're ready, whenever you're ready. We
Yeah,
loved
I think
her.
it's
We
I
feel
agree,
bad,
Deanna. I think that's a gift. She spent a lot of time here, and I think that's a really lovely gift to the family. To your point, if and when they're ready to consume the content that she created here, but the point is it's here. And I think you wanted
Right.
to do a really lovely thing as her friend, which is sort of wrap this up with a really lovely bow in commemorating her life. And I think that's lovely because you're a lovely person. And
Thank
I
you.
still haven't gone back to listen to all of the two of you during the Depp Heard.
It
Boy,
was
you two
crazy. I don't
I
know if
think
you
you
want to
both
relive
loved
that.
it. I think you were both absolutely in it, and you were both passionate about it. I think you all had a great
We
deal of
were
fun.
all over the place because so was the trial. So whatever, it was just
Right.
anyway.
But it was something that was really fun, and it was something you
Yeah.
shared a laughter and a passion and an intrigue about. So I think
Yeah.
that's going to be fun. Again, whenever future members of family or friends are ready or want to, there's going to be some fun
Right.
things there for people to look at.
Yeah, and I just think it's really great for us to be able to give our condolences, but also to share it in that
Yeah.
way, in that way that we can show the light side and the beauty that we found in her. And I think for sure that they will appreciate that too at some point.
I agree, Deanna. Lovely job, and it's really special that you did this. So
Thank you.
sorry it
All
took
right,
me so long,
well,
but thanks for having me.
Oh, that's great. No, I'm glad you were able to jump up. I appreciate it.
Of
So
course.
I think, Stephanie probably wrapped it up just as good as anybody else could. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say here. I didn't want to drag this on forever and ever. I just wanted to really pay some honor to someone who struggled with something that is not given the amount of attention it needs to be given to begin with. And so, from both angles, we're going to sign off of this, with laughter in our hearts, with love, because that's how Wendy was, and just knowing that we have, this little piece of all of these people that wound up, connected because of Wendy. So I think it's just a beautiful thing, and that's kind of how I want to wrap it up and end it. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring Waitbot up, unless anybody has anything else to say. I don't want to just, step on anybody's toes, but for me, I'm done. Okay, good. I think that's a thing. Okay. All right. Well, in Wendy's honor and my way of saying things, I see you. You are beautiful. You guys, till next time that I see you here on Fireside or Instagram, or hey, when you visit New Orleans, I love you for real. Shine on.